Saturday was so wild, so insane, so unexpected that it was not a thought, right? Like it was not a thought, just with who Pat Kraft is. That would cost Penn State $56 million to buy out James Franklin's contract as we sit here today. If they wait till after the season, that's $49 million. So I was like, oh, okay.
That's after January 1st, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's after January 1st. Okay. And I was like, okay. But that didn't like sit right with me because I thought about this a little bit longer. And I think when you have to you don't just have to pay the cost of James Franklin leaving. You've also got to pay the cost of buyouts for assistant coaches, OCs, DCs. You've got to pay for all these other things. And so I'm going to have an article probably tomorrow about this.
New coaches buyout.
Of what the cost would actually be. And I'm going to explain some of my methodology. So we've got the let me get you.
You're showing us the math beforehand?
Yes, I'm going to show you the math now. You've got the couple $1 million over the next, $49 million over the next few years, $50 million over the next years for Franklin's buyout. You're going to have to pay Kotelnicki, who's on a 5-year deal, $5.7 million. I'm going to assume that Knowles is gone too, and you're going to have to pay him a buyout. So that's $6.2 million over the next 2 years. Penn State, I'm considering this part of James Franklin's salary because he made this decision. Penn State paid $905, $480 in buyouts. $5,000 last year.
Yeah.
In buyouts.
Okay.
I think that's Yursic's buyout in terms of that was earmarked. And when you go through the numbers, I think that's Yursic's. So we're going to add that number. So you got another $1.8 million there. Then I thought, well, Penn State's probably either not going to make a bowl if they fire him now, or they're not at worst not going to host a college football playoff game, which is they get all of the revenue for tickets, parking and concessions. Did some math there. Penn State made about $2.1 million per game per game last season in those numbers in 2023, 2024. I added up, did a little bit of rounding, but also subtracted some other costs because we've got other concessions from Pagola, BJC, etc. $1.8 million over the next 2 years because you're not going to make the playoff this year and you're not going to make the playoff next year. $3.6 million total. You're doing the math at home. And then you have to pay the coach. And we're going to go $9 million because it's Pat Kraft and he likes to spend money. A $9 million contract until 2031. We're doing this money in, money out. So we're going to have an OC that makes $1.7 million for the next 3 years to match the the unexpected expenses of paying over the over the Kotelnicki buyout, and then $1.7 million for the DC over the next 2 years. That gives us a total of, are you ready? You want to guess? You want to do this prices right style?
126.4.
Ooh, pretty close. I would give you you get the bone. You get both packages on that one.
Okay, there you go.
I had $127,860,960. No cents in there because we didn't add in the cents. But I think that's what it's going to cost either now or tomorrow. Fire James Franklin. And I just at that point brings me how I want to land this plane on our layover to Arizona, saying I don't think James Franklin is going to get fired. I kind of think he's too competitive to want to leave on his own, even if he's not really enjoying this right now, based off of the vibes that we're getting from him. And I think he's going to coach. I think he's going to be the coach of Penn State football next year. I really do.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I don't think I wouldn't be shocked if there was a move at the end of the season. I don't think it's happening in the middle of the season unless, man, something goes really south in the next few weeks, 3 weeks, right? Because,
well,
I mean,
who knows?
I mean, once you get past Ohio State, you've only got, 3 weeks left in the season. You play out the string, if that's whatever. It depends on how much he's enjoying it or not, right? Like how much he's really, today he looked miserable, right? Today he looked, and he talked last week about getting cut-ups and samples from his PR staff about how coaches deal with things. And he made reference about, well, I don't think that would play well here and that, whatever. So people are certainly in his ear. and certainly not listening to us. And I know what you get for advice from me in terms of the free podcast guy, in terms of saying, not answering not saying it's don't grade the questions. Don't grade the questions. Just answer the questions, right? Find a way to not listen to the criticism. If you're going to tell people to turn the noise off, don't hear it yourself. I heard somebody on one of the local radio stations today complaining, oh, he did the whole 1-0 thing. We need everyone beat Northwestern. That's crazy. That's your process. That's what they do. If they were to not do that, that would be panic to me. Like if that would be a big change of pace. Like that would be a mistake. If what you've done for the past 12 years is what you do, then do it. And what he's done for the last 12 years is listen to the noise, right? So that's not going to change. So it wouldn't shock me either way. I think at 124, whatever the number is, divide that by 5 or 7, right? That may be a lump sum initially, but that's not the way you're going to pay it out, right?
Right.
You're gonna have a credit card from somewhere that does that. And I sincerely hope, and I guess I would believe that they're doing this. If not, it's dereliction of duty, or they're just not qualified. Somebody should have been doing this math the past 24 hours, whose job it really is, right? To be saying, okay, if this, then what? If that, then this, right? And if they're not doing those things, then shame on them. Maybe they aren't doing them because Pat is like, no, we are not changing. This is our guy. This is what's going on. I think where I'm at is maybe less out the door than you are, but I do believe we know where the ceiling is, right? And we know how much that costs. We've seen it. The 4-28 against, or 4-21 against, the 1-18 against teams in the Big Ten that are top 10. You're just probably more likely than not going to win those games. It just hasn't been proven over a decade plus, right? But you're not going to save money by making a change. It's going to cost you money. And there's going to be pain in the short term. There's going to be players transfer. But again, next year, nobody thought they were going to be good. I mean, realistically, they've invested so much in this year. You're expecting players to leave. Next year's not good, but you need to be good. Well, the common perception among the people who are just Joe Schmoes was be good, or Jane Schmoes, be good going into the new place. 2027, when it's open and it's fully operational in the stadiums, you want to have a good product in there.
Yeah.
But the nuance of that is people are showing up no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, so it is who's going to pay for suites, who's going to pay for, of the things that don't change. It was kind of like men's basketball for years. Well, we need a better coach. We need to pay for more coach. We got to find a way to put in seats because the TV money doesn't change. You got to get people in the seats. Here, this is more about the bigger fish, I think, in terms of who's going to buy stuff. Because even if 4,000 people don't renew season tickets, somebody who's been on that waiting list is going to say, well, what the hell?
100%.
Right? Like, so they're not losing that money. It's the bigger money, and it's the relationships that maybe could not be as fruitful as they'd like. And honestly, do I think they're going to win out? No, I think they're losing at Ohio State. And I think Saturday's game puts more doubt on Iowa, although, gosh, they're so much better than Iowa, and puts some doubt on Indiana, and I think they're better than Indiana. But you just don't know.
Yeah. No, and that's why you play the football games. I think